9.
10.
Yes, so.
Hey, girl, that sounds better.
Mid yawn. I apologize, kings and
That
queens.
sounds much better.
You hear me? I've been drinking my little water and my little tea.
Not people on Patreon like, y'all so fucking lie.
No, I have. Throughout the episode, I was drinking my tea, and it was helping. You ain't hear it? Throughout the episode, it was getting better.
What kind of tea is that?
It's so good. My sister bought it for me for my birthday. Shout out to her. It's this lean green cinnamon, like matcha blend. It is delicious. It's my favorite tea. It's corny and expensive. And she got me 2 of them for my birthday. And I'm on the last one. And I'm gonna have to buy some more, child. But it's good. The only thing is it doesn't have the quotes, the yogi quotes. I really look forward to them.
You be posting them motherfuckers on your stories like it's your job. I said internet is getting enlightened from these yogi teas.
I love it. I love them. It brings me so much joy. I don't know why.
Tea is such a comforting thing in the wintertime. I gotta get my tea game up.
Girl, I had tea and that pho again today. Bitch, don't get any other. See, what did we say the last episode? We shouldn't be this. We need to protect Black women. Queen, we need to be. When you come up here, I really want you to come up here because this is the best pho that you will ever have. It turned Jade out.
Girl, what
it
you
turned
doing
her
on Saturday?
out.
I'm living by. Come
up here. Or I would wait.
I might come through.
No, please don't disappoint me. It would make me really happy. We're gonna have to hang out with Black too a little bit, but we have so much fun with
a joy. Just a joy.
A lovely character. And it's finna be 70 degrees on Saturday. Drive. I'll give you the gas money halfway. I heard it. I heard it, man. Wait, I heard it.
I might come up there to do some shopping.
Come.
Oh, damn.
You got something to do?
Yeah, I got to celebrate my sister's birthday.
Who?
Don't disrespect. Damn, maybe I would do evening, though. Because JoJo doesn't come home till Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. So I could come like...
She ain't coming, y'all.
Oh, no. I could come like 3 and get there in the evening.
That's enough time.
You need to rest. Because we be out doing
rest. I'm off tomorrow. I got to work a little bit on Sunday is all. And all I need is my computer for a couple hours.
We apologize for making plans on y'all time.
No.
First of all, this is not a telephone call.
And we got lost. And we're 3 minutes in. Apologies. Do you have any updates? Because it doesn't look like you do. The update is Shati
might come true.
She probably won't.
Let's see.
You gotta come. If you come, I give you your diary back. It's right here.
I need it. You know all my secrets.
I ain't read it either. Boundaries. I'm really proud of myself.
Good job.
Thank you. Do you have any? I
don't. What's going on with you?
Learn long division and how to round up from the 3rd decimal to the 2nd. Yo, I was stressed out at work. Mid-stressed freak out. And Shati was like, but answer that real fast. When it says how do I round up? She gave me a fucking homework problem for JoJo. I'm on FaceTime doing the long division.
Hold the phone and show her. I was like, I know how to do the long division. It's just the decimal point.
Right. Well, obviously you don't know how to do it. She was like, keep putting the zeros there until what? I said, girl, you get on my nerves. Shout out to long division.
That's good. I hope she get it right. To our topic. It's connected to our topic today, so I love the through line. I love the way God is working to keep it always comes back around.
That word escaped you, whatever you were looking for. I heard you. All right.
How you doing?
In my updates, this fucking cat of mine, let me tell you what, speaking of pho, let me tell you what she did today. I'm in here on a meeting, and I'm like, I had no time to make food, so I ordered pho. And you know, when the pho comes delivered, you got to put it on the stove because the meat is like a little bit raw or whatever. So you got to cook it up. So I'm cooking it up. And then I realized like, oh shit, let me turn it off. Turn it off, put the noodles in so they don't get too soggy. Come back. and I'm on a client call now, so I can't even. I'm about to embarrass myself, but I can't even eat on a client call, so I just got to let that shit sit and wait. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I go back in there, Shanti.
No, she didn't.
And that cat, it was on. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I turned it back on because by now it's gotten cold. So I turned it back on after the client call. I'm doing other calls. That cat is on my motherfucking stove with the burner on. With her fucking tongue.
Just licking
trying
it away.
To lick the soup. And I don't know if she licked it or not.
You know she did.
I think it was too hot for her. It looked like her nose was just in it because it was short rib pho. And I know that bitch likes shit like that. Blue has good taste. Blue is like oxtail, jerk chicken, short rib. That's what I want. So she's sniffing. And I hope to God she didn't lick it because I ate it.
I know you did.
I was like, I have not eaten all day. Yeah, I started screaming at her and I was like, what are you doing? And like, she hopped down and made that noise she makes because she's obese. It was like, when she hopped down and scurried away. And I said, girl, you really could, that fur ball, had I went in there and that bitch would have been on fire, the way I would have the way I would have been freaking out. Do you understand? She had her fur on the stove by the burner. One wrong move with that tail. She's supposed to be able to sense danger. I was so irritated. Like, are you dumb now?
Yes. She's been so domesticated that she literally does not know her purpose.
Let me tell you another story about her because I just told my sister about this. I come in from Angie's shower, her baby shower. Shout out to Angela. It was a beautiful time.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to Angela. It was such a great shower. If y'all haven't seen this shower, go to my stories. It's the last thing I posted, little reel. Anyway, I come in, I got my cart. You can see my cart behind me. And it's full of like all the, miscellaneous baby shower props and shit and stuff that was in my car and like whatever. So I come in, my hands are full. It was really hot that day. I was exhausted. And so like I had my coat on my shoulder. Like it was a lot going on when I got in that door. And so I come in the door, see Blue. Hi, sweetie. Watch out. I got to get around her with the cart because the hallway is narrow. Shout out to New York. Shut the door, lock the door, keep it pushing. I don't see Blue, but I hear her screaming. And I'm looking around like, where the fuck? She's in the hallway. She's been in the hallway for hours now. I didn't took a bath. I didn't moisturize my body. So I'm sure that these people who live on my floor are like, what the fuck? Why is this cat? Blue wanted to get free so bad that she didn't run. I don't know where she went, but wherever it was, she knew that home was better than that. And she was having a fucking fit. When I opened that door and she came running back in here, she started crying. I started crying. It was a mess. I was weeping in here. I said, my cat, this is a reflection of poor parenting. I was like, anything could have happened to her. She could have ran away. Somehow she was smart enough to know what floor to come back to, what door. Blue has never been outside, so she was probably living her life like, wow.
Her paws are soft as hell. That cat has never worked a day in her life.
No. I don't even look at her. She right here on a chair, or her chair, because I never get to sit in it. Just looking pretty, sitting pretty, staring at me like, when you finna be done, so you can rub me. The ongoing saga of this cat. I'm like, yeah, you learned a valuable lesson, but also so did I, because I was sick. I was sick over it. I was like, I can't believe this cat is out in this hallway. Last update about Blue, though. Now she's doing this thing, and Black, actually, I was talking to him, and he checked me, because I was like, she getting on my nerves. She keeps laying on top of me. She lays on top of me at night, and now she's laying on my chest. And then her face is like right here in the nape of my neck, but all I hear is
I know. She did that shit to me when I was there, on my head, purring and kneading.
Kneading and
like, girl,
kneading
you going back to your second childhood? Like, you a kitten now?
I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's going through, what she needs. But he checked me and was like, "But you actually really want that because you want her to be a lab cat and you love her." And I do. But I think that that's partly why I'm sick too. She's keeping me up. And she's about to be 11. She's about to be 11. She's a senior. She's got to relax. It's way too much. I think she's losing her fucking mind in here. I don't know what's going on. But shout out to Blue. Shout out to the saga.
Everybody loves Blue.
Everybody loves Blue. And I love how people be like, Burrito Blue.
Oh my God. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That
shout
was
out.
insanity.
If you're a new listener, you don't know what it was. Shanti had Blue for like a month and I had to go get her and she was not getting in that cage
was so
to come home.
Serious, and Amanda and I were harassing her. Internet was like, focus, man.
Because y'all don't know how hard it is to get this cat to function appropriately. But anyway, I don't need to talk about work. I had another update, but I don't feel like talking about it. All I want to say is I love my boss, and my boss goes to war for me. And she actually cried today because she was so frustrated on my behalf, and she was going to war for me. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with work. I don't know. It's getting tricky over there. I'm like, am I going to make it here? What's going on?
Listen, what is this?
Things are getting weird, but, we're doing the best we can. In other news, we have voicemails. I love this part of the week. So why don't we just get into it? Let's just dive right in. All right, here we go. Work. Oh.
Hey, Shanti. Hey, Antoine. I would like to know what your viewpoint is on the difference between the anti-Semitic talk and people making fun of and using the likeness of a group like Jehovah's Witnesses. What's the difference? I just would be curious to know your thoughts. I love what you do. And thanks.
Well, the first difference is one group is protected and one group is not.
Money, power, respect, girl. 3, that's it. Money,
they gonna say
power,
this is anti-Semitic.
Money, power, respect.
I think that's what Ilhan Omar tweeted, and they made her apologize about that. I said it was anti-Semitic. I think, just like I said, one group is protected. I don't know that Black folks do enough to really protect their own.
You should say Jehovah's Witness.
I know. The Jehovah's Witness that I think, I'm making assumptions, that I think that she's talking about are like the folks in our neighborhoods, in my neighborhood, that's knocking on the door. I know Jehovah's Witness is much more versatile and diverse than that. But I think that's the like stereotype. And I could be wrong. That's where I went to. I don't think, I'm going to say this. I think there's a lot of frustration with Jewish folks from the Black community around the power that they have and the power that they wield. I will say that my understanding, and I don't understand a lot, and I could probably use some education on this, but my understanding is that, especially within this country, Jewish folks were not in the in crowd. They were not invited into circles that were affluent or growing or et cetera, et cetera. And so they carved out their own lane, from Hollywood to real estate to whatever. And I can't be mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I think any group of people who are in positions of power And they maintain that power in a way that might be harmful to other groups of people is messed up. And I don't know if that's what the Jewish community is doing purposefully, all of them. Like, the Jewish community is also like so vast and diverse as well. There's so many different I don't know if it's sectors, I don't know the word, but different ways to practice Judaism. It's just very complex. I will say this.
Judaism and Jews aren't.
It's tricky.
Are not necessarily the
synonymous.
Yeah. I mean, you can be a Jewish person and not practice Judaism. Be secular. Judaism is the religion, so I guess
it's so confusing.
Anti-Semitism is a broad attack on the race of people. Making fun of Jehovah's Witnesses is more on the religious thing. I guess if you wanted to correlate it, then it'd be like making fun of people that practice Judaism versus Jehovah's Witness. But I'm gonna stick to my 3: money, power, respect.
Heard you.
Sorry.
I mean, that's what I open with. I don't know. I would love to have somebody come on who knows more about this, but I think it's at least the jokes that I hear within the Black and brown community around Jehovah's Witnesses, like, they knocking on the door, they passing out their pamphlets, ha ha ha, because it's like a cultural kind of like somebody knocking on your door at 8 a.m. You know it is unannounced. Like, it's just like a cultural thing. You saw it in Friday. It's like that type of thing. I don't see it go further than that. I hope it doesn't go further than that, where people are like anti-Jehovah's Witness. It's like weird too. Like, what are we doing? So I really don't know. I hope not. That I haven't seen that or experienced that, but I understand where you're going with it, if that's where you're indeed going. But like Shanti said, money, power, respect. Some people are protected, some people are not. And we could all do a better job of protecting our own. That's where I'll leave it. All right, ciao. Shout out to all the sponsors that we're thinking about advertising with us who no longer are. We tried to handle that with the most care that we could. But we have to be true to ourselves. We don't in any way support anti-Semitism.
An apology.
But the fact that I even feel the need to do this is telling. I'm going to leave it at that. All right.
Hi, ladies. I have to hurry up and say this before my daughter gets in the car, so I cannot discuss this. But, Antoinette, I totally, 1,000,000% agree with what you said about Lizzo. And I don't think that you meant it in a negative way at all. I also, because Spirit has been beating my butt, have to say that I was someone who said, like maybe over a year ago, I said about how your voice was annoying and blah, 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 blah. And I think I said that, I probably was projecting. Not probably, I was projecting, because honestly, I relate to you in a lot of ways in your posts, and I'm always like, if this girl don't start loving on herself, and she's so beautiful and so talented and all the things, but I also feel that way about myself. Like, I just relate to you in a lot of ways. I love this show. I will continue to listen. You guys give me the therapy that I know I need to get professionally, but I love the show. Thank you. Keep doing my show. Bye.
I love that.
I love the accountability.
Me too.
I was hating on you in the beginning, but girl, I was projecting.
Did I play that voicemail? I remember that voicemail. They was like, "You was annoying. Your voice is annoying." Or it was a girl says, "You ain't the only one who said it." I actually listened back.
I think you have a beautiful voice.
Piercing. Oh, thank you. But there were a couple of comments where they were like, "Antoinette's voice is annoying. It's hard to listen to sometimes." So, like reviews. but I got to keep on keeping on. I appreciate that.
You gotta change it.
Just got to keep on keeping on. And shout out to your daughter in gymnastics, sis. I really do appreciate it. Also, it always makes me nervous when people say that we're their therapy. I'm like, bad idea. We may be your friends, but your friends probably... How many times you go to your friends for advice or like counseling? You're like, this is a terrible idea.
Like, I've never... What did you just say?
Anyway, thank you. One more. Oh, I remember this one. Yes. Okay. This is, yeah.
Hi, I just listened to your most recent episode. I just wanted to, first of all, stay anonymous for obvious reasons once I get this voicemail out. And secondly, speak to the woman who was dating someone who was accused of rape. I, at the age of 23, was accused by a girlfriend. Obviously, I am gay. I am a lesbian. I was accused of raping a girlfriend. It got to the point where I was arrested by the cops at my job. They put me in the back of a police car, and they took me down to the precinct. She eventually came downtown and admitted that she had lied, but by the time that it got to the point where I got out, it had already gotten around the community where I'm from. It's very small, so it had already gotten around to the LGBTQ community. It took me years, as far as the community goes, to kind of clear my name, even though she had, let everyone know ahead of time, or that day pretty much, that I hadn't done anything. But it took a while to get to that point, and I would just say to her, again, as you said, Antoinette, trust your instincts. And also, again, I understand the apprehension and the hesitation, but trust your instincts, because it took me years to be able to date again in that community just because of something that someone else said. Trust your instincts, and also just be understanding of his stance, that he also could possibly be apprehensive about dating someone again as well. I didn't really trust anybody after that, just because I had been put in that position. So just understand that, he may not trust you either. It may take a while for both of you to get to a place where you trust each other. That's all. Just wanted to say I love you guys and thank you guys so much for what you're doing.
That's horrible.
It's a real reality that lots of people face.
Wow.
Sorry that you experienced that, and happy that you're recovering from it slow and steady. But that is such a difficult situation to navigate for the past caller, most importantly. In terms of not most importantly, but trying to figure out, because in that situation, that person knew that they were innocent, but that's difficult.
I think a really good point that this caller brought up was the fact that to consider that the person who was accused might be apprehensive in dating as well, because there's a trust loss with them. If indeed, they relied on.
Oh my goodness, I don't know why.
Imagine how you navigate that with someone. Like, you could say anything about me, and my whole life is flipped upside down. That's terrifying. So, oof. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. If you have, so I'm gonna say this too. There's a couple people who are left voicemails, and we love them. Unfortunately, you're leaving 4 voicemails in a row, 4 3-minute voicemails in a row, and that equates to 12 minutes. That's going to be really difficult to play on the podcast. But I love if you just want to share and talk to us and kind of vent or connect, cool. But if you're looking to reach the rest of the Around the Way Curl community, because I'm loving how people will call in, just like this last caller did, and provide advice for the rest of the community. It's really difficult to be able to share that with like really long messages. Like 2 voicemails max is like what we would be able to play. So just keep that in mind when you do call. But please continue these calls. Please continue to respond to one another. I just love it so much. If you have, further comments, if you have questions, if you have critique, whatever the case is, please give us a call at 215-948-2780. That's 215-948-2780.
All right, well, we are going to go on to our topic. We have a lovely guest, and I am delighted to be in conversation with her, so stay tuned.
And Shanti, thank you for holding me down. I will not be included in that because I need to get some rest. So I'm excited to listen as well. We'll be back next week. For me, I'll be back next week, and y'all enjoy the rest of this episode. Boop.
And so we are back to our topic. Although Antoinette was with us in the beginning, I am going to handle this by myself. Our sweet baby girl needs some rest, so we're going to give her some rest. I'm here with Isha Metzger. She is here to talk with us about parenting, anxious parenting, parenting anxious children. She is a licensed clinical psychologist, professor, researcher, and recognized expert in focused cognitive behavioral therapy and empowering Black youth, emerging adults, and families who experience stressors, including physical and sexual abuse, neglect, racial discrimination, gun violence and mass shootings, relationship problems, family conflict, and school and job difficulties. That is quite the title. Quite the receipts, quite the responsibility, quite the expertise. I'm really excited to talk with you. Everybody, I just shot her shot. She's one of the guests that was like, I want to come on the show. We friends in my head. Let's kiki together.
No pun
and
yes.
Sent over a really professional but lovely email, and I was like, yes, she got the receipts, she got the energy, and we need these type of guests, and we need to have these conversations because Lord knows Antoinette and I we're limited in our ability, and we need somebody with some letters behind their names to be like, actually, oh Lord, my damn light is acting a fool. Come on now.
And you know what, Tati, you are so cat, because after we talked the first time, I know at the very end I said, listen, I catfished y'all. That was totally my cousin who was acting as my assistant. And
like I say, don't let people know the back of the house, okay? It was you had your assistant come and check us out. I said, oh my goodness, let me make sure I come correct for Miss Isha.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for responding and for having me and for allowing the opportunity to share this space with you. I really appreciate it.
It really came at a time. It's timely, to be completely honest. You and I spoke before we recorded this to just kind of like flesh out what we were going to talk about. And I mean, we always talking about mental health problems. We always dealing with something, but I was searching for like, what exactly are we going to sink our teeth into?
Yeah.
And so I'm a mother, and my baby girls, I was homeschooling for 2 years, and now she's back in school, and we have been doing homework together. Like, homework is a timely thing as the year progresses. I'm sorry, y'all. Antoinette would be so upset with me. This damn light.
Hang You're glowing. You're glowing.
I know, but it has to like, I have a charger in it and everything and it's not staying. But what I've been experiencing and seeing in her is something that I don't have the skill set for. So I'll give you an example. Like I said, homework is progressing. So she has all these different subjects. She has tests coming up. And she's in sixth grade.
Okay.
She was living her free Black life 2 years ago. Homework, writing, what? It was playing in dirt, free. And now she's like, learning how to manage the expectations of her teacher. And she's watching other students who have been in practice of doing homework and like this academic rigor. And so we come home and panic sets in. She's like, I gotta study this. I gotta write a paragraph. And so like, there's this struggle around writing this paragraph. There's this expectation of perfection that I see growing in her. There's this fear of how her teacher is going to respond. And then there's this esteem thing that I see building inside of her. And I see her becoming anxious. And I see my anxiety growing around it. One, in her response to the anxiety, and then also me feeling the same pressure of like, she has to keep up with these grades. She has to learn how to study. She has to, she's in school now. 7th grade is an important year for high school. Right. So it made me really excited to sit down with you and kind of talk around both what it is to identify anxiety in your child and then what it is to manage your own anxiety as a parent. And you are you deal with cognitive behavior, and Antoinette I talked about it before. We did an episode and we talked about how anxiety is increasing in kids in the population, like exponentially since the pandemic. I think 27%, it has increased 27% since the pandemic. And folks are not necessarily knowing what to do around it. Like the diagnoses for medication is not necessarily working. And so they did talk about this cognitive therapy. So can you talk to us a little bit about what this mode of how cognitive therapy differs from the other types of therapies?
Even pharmacological therapy, right? So I think that it's really important to first think about, right, what's the difference between someone who's just, experiencing anxiety around a particular issue, right? So is your kiddo getting anxious only when it's homework time and only as it relates to school? Or is she more globally, kind of worried and anxious? So my first question would be, is it something that you can manage around, changing her cognitions, her thoughts, and her behaviors around, homework and schooling? Or is it something that's more global that you're noticing, and it sounds like it's not? And in that case, medication really wouldn't even be effective. So I think the first thing that we try to do is just look for signs, and we call them symptoms, but it's really just signs. So what do you see? So when you say she starts to prepare to do her homework and then panic sets in. So my question is, what does panic look like for her? Is it physical? Is it her heart rate? Is she crying, or is it headaches and tummy aches, or is it actual difficulty concentrating and saying, okay, where do I start this assignment? What is a paragraph? How do I construct a paragraph? Are you having to break down subjects and slow down her pace, right, around the anxiety? Or is it manifesting, like you're saying, in her physical reactions?
So cognitive is more around the behaviors of a specific diagnosis, if you will. Let's use example anxiety as the example. So it's less around like, it's treating it with behavior versus any other. I see.
Yeah. So our job is to make a connection between your behaviors, your thoughts, and your feelings. So we know that what you're doing, so how you're expressing your anxiety, whether that be being scattered or just withdrawing completely and saying, you know what, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed. It's the feelings that are connected with that. So, shame around I should be able to better manage this, fear around what are the social consequences of this, right? Next year, there's going to be a lot more pressure on me. You can start to allow those worries to be thought driven. So if you make the connection between, okay, this is how I'm feeling anxious, but it's related to these thoughts that I'm having. It sounds like even you as a caregiver have these thoughts about, what are upcoming stressors that might be associated with this, and what are the future stressors that might be associated with either her ability to manage or if you're thinking that she might be falling behind as well. So it's really identifying those thoughts that are causing that anxiety and then challenging them with reality. So what we know is that, right, these fears are based on future projections that oftentimes don't even come true. So it's just a matter of identifying those thoughts. So what's worrying you? It sounds like the 7th grade might be worrying you. It sounds like your teacher's expectations might be worrying you. So slowing down and identifying those thoughts and then being able to challenge them one by one is what gets rid of that kind of overwhelming feeling, right? Because you're having these thoughts that are rushing and then it causes you to feel anxious and your heart starts to race. Your kiddo might say, my tummy hurts, or I don't feel good. That's not feeling good. Those are emotions that are being stored in our body. So the more we're able to make that connection between what we're feeling, and if I'm feeling overwhelmed, now it's making me scattered and I'm not able to concentrate, or it's making me want to just withdraw completely, then we're able to attack. And okay, if you're feeling scattered, how can we make you feel more organized? How can we take this assignment one step at a time? If you're feeling like avoiding, how can we encourage you to approach again in a more manageable way?
Jolie is, I think, a very emotionally intelligent child. Yeah. So like having this conversation, helping her to notice her own emotions feels like something that's achievable. But let's talk about how parents who have younger children or have children that may not have that, the parents may not even have that. They may just be sensing something, but they don't have the language around it. Can you talk about what the identifiers of anxiety are in your child from as little as, like, how old is a child? Like, when do you look at a 2-year-old and be like, wow, this kid might be having anxiety? When do these diagnoses happen?
So typically, as long as a kid is able to understand the difference between current and the future, they can have anxiety. So that's just around the unknown, right? So if you have a kid who's going to school tomorrow, they can start worrying about that if they know that tomorrow is coming. And how do you identify that in a kid? That's really important. So like you said, you know that JoJo, right, is emotionally aware. So you're able to pick up on that. But if a younger kid doesn't know that what they're feeling is anxiety, they might just say, my tummy hurts or my head hurts.
Wow.
So these physical complaints, or again, these behavioral avoidances of, I don't want to go to school. Well, you really like school. What's bothering you about school? That's, those are ways that you're able to identify just changes in their behavior. Some kids will have problems going to sleep or staying asleep. They might wake up in the middle of the night if they have something big that they're anticipating tomorrow that's causing anxiety. So if you're able to notice just any disruptions in their day-to-day routine, if they start, I'm not hungry tonight. Well, you love spaghetti. What's going on? Right. So you're able to notice any changes in their appetite, their sleep patterns, the way they talk about themselves, right? If they're usually very confident and optimistic and all of a sudden they're, worried about the future, or they're thinking about themselves in a more negative way. Those are ways that you can check in on, how are you feeling about yourself today? Or how are you feeling about class tomorrow? And they might not say, oh, I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling panic in my tummy, Mom, but they might say, I don't want to go to school tomorrow. right? And then you're able to ask those questions about what's worrying you, or what are you afraid of, or what are you thinking about school tomorrow that makes you not want to go? And then you can start to, again, target those thoughts, right? So what are you thinking about school? How do you feel about yourself? Those feelings that they're able to identify. They might be physical feelings. If they're not able to say, I'm sad, or I'm worried, or I'm anxious.
I love that you say that. Tummy ache. My tummy hurts. I have a headache. Child, I know adults that have that cycle of, my stomach hurts. I have an upset stomach all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And not connecting it to stress or whatever.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, what do you think about this uprisal or this epidemic of anxiety? What do you think that it is connected to?
I love that you said this epidemic, right? It's connected to the actual panini. There's a pandemic.
Right.
We have kids, like you said, she was in the 4th grade, going about her merry old life, still going to recess and having nap time. And all of a sudden, no, actually, you're going to do school from this computer here at home. You're going to learn this way. And then you blink and one day, okay, go back to school. What do you mean? Right? So these are changes to not only our worldview and how we think about the world, but these are changes to the actual world that are happening around us. And as we, as adults, are having problems managing that anxiety and that stress, kids are picking up on that anxiety. Kids are experiencing it as well. And one of the main things we can do as parents, right, is just model for them, right?
Not you putting it on me.
You got to. You got to. So just like you're saying, right, this is overwhelming for me. Say that out loud to her.
Share it. Share your model of how you manage your anxiety.
I'm going to take a couple deep breaths, or you know what? There's a lot that you have coming up this week. I'm going to put it on my calendar too, just so I'm able to manage that too. Right? You're able to say, you know what, mommy's going to take a longer bath tonight because I just need a little time. Right? Or I'm going to allow you to take a longer bath tonight. What do you think about that? You want to light some candles? I love when I practice self-care. It helps me wind down at the end of the night. Run that baby a bath too. Right? So that's to say it does start with you, right? If you're worn down and anxious and panicky yourself, then absolutely she's going to pick up on that. But if you're using those coping skills to, you know, take your breaths and drink your water and, like I say, mind your business, right? If you're doing those things and modeling it for her, then she's able to see, right, okay, I can write these thoughts down, or I can share these thoughts with mommy, because when she's feeling this way, she shares those thoughts with me.
What a heavy responsibility that is in a lot of ways. I follow this woman online, and she unfortunately her baby is sick in this moment, and she wrote this caption at the end of it. She was like, oh, the karmic responsibility of having a womb.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, damn, girl. But my mom would always tell me, since JoJo was very, very young, you have to slow down. You rushing, you moving very quickly, you rushing your 1.5-year-old, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old. Come on, let's go. Put your shoes on. You are instilling in her something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mama was right, but Mama was right. Yeah.
Can you talk about how parents plant the seeds of anxiety?
Yep.
Even in the womb.
Anxious parenting is yes, let's go back to the womb, baby. Yeah, so how you're able to regulate your emotions while that baby is inside of you, right? That's why we tell parents, make sure that you have a peaceful environment so that you're bringing a baby into that space. But that's also while they're inside of you. You don't want all of those hormones, right, messing with the environment that they're growing up in. So certainly from within the womb, but right when they come out, are you anxiously breastfeeding and come on, baby, you got to get this right? Or are you able to breathe and relax into it? Are you rushing them to their next activity? Or are you able to say, okay, this is what we have coming up today, and making your day predictable and talking them through transitions in the same way, right? That we don't like to be rushed. We don't like to be, going from activity to activity. It does make you feel scattered. And that certainly is something. Anxious parenting breeds anxious babies, and certainly calm parenting and being able to regulate your emotions. That's not to say you won't get stressed out. But that's to say, when you get stressed out, you're able to vocalize that and you're able to return yourself back to baseline in a way that your kid can see, so that when they will get stressed out, right? So when that does happen, they're able to say, okay, what does mommy do? What is mommy showing me how to do? What can I do in this moment to manage my stress? And if and it's crazy that you'll see little bitty kids who start to take deep breaths and they look like, little yogi babies, but it's because they have a mom, or they have Tabitha Brown on TV. They have someone modeling that for them. Come on, Tab time, but right?
Come on, Tab.
It's so important. It's so important just to teach our kids through the ways that we interact with them, how to, like you said, just slow down and go with the flow. You want a baby who can adapt to the changes that inevitably are going to come. So just letting them know that you can manage those changes. You can manage a big assignment one step at a time. So let's look at your instructions. Let's look at, what is a paragraph? There's a topic sentence, and then there's supporting sentences and one conclusion. What's your topic going to be? Let's write that out. How do we want to support that? Let's get 3 supporting statements. Let's write each of those out. Conclusion. Oh my God, JoJo, you wrote a paragraph. We accomplished this huge goal that at one point seemed astronomical. Ooh, and that's so important. So you see what I just did? Oh my God, JoJo. Black women, take time. Black babies, celebrate your victories. That also helps to alleviate anxiety when we're able to take that time. We don't pause, right? If you take a pause after, come on, each thing that you accomplish. All right, we did that one assignment.
For your motherfucking self too. Yes.
This pat right here for me, dance party, right? I submitted this. I did my homework. I wrote a paragraph you deserve, right? So how can you do a little dance party in the living room, right? How can you do something to reward yourself and encourage yourself in a way that says, all right, on to the next, right? Because there's always, literally always going to be something else. And it sounds like that's what JoJo is starting to experience, right?
She's starting to realize that, and I'm starting to see, I mean, even again with Antoinette and I, it's not wherever you are, there you go. Wherever you're doing,
come on,
you are the person that's doing it.
Yeah.
So it just blew my mind. I was like, oh, this whole school thing is not, it's about learning, but it's really the medium in which she learns how to listen to herself, care for herself, handle responsibility. Like it's how she's learning how to relate to herself.
Yeah.
And so as much as I want to focus on the grades and the assignment, it's like, how are you managing this? Do you know that you put your all into it? And that's what we always go back to. Yeah. Are you working hard? Are you trying really hard? Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. If you get a quarter of that paragraph done, similarly, I'm going to pat you on the back. I'm going to be happy for you too, because you out here working. You doing heavy spiritual work in this moment, my young 12-year-old.
Right. Oh my gosh. There's so much that we have to manage. And she's learning very early that, like you said, it keeps coming. There's always another assignment. It always has new instructions. When you get the grade back, it's never what you quite expected. So that's what you're starting to learn how to manage. And then, right, she's a little black baby. So she's also having to manage that anxiety as well, and to manage those expectations and those additional burdens as well.
Philadelphia school system is trash.
Yeah.
So she's always been in private schools. This private school that she's in this moment is the whitest.
Come on. So
she is.
Yeah.
She is the only brown girl. There's other brown boys, but she's the only black girl in the classroom.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I want to talk about that because I've never experienced that. I was always in public schools. I never felt that. And she and I, we discussed it. She doesn't seem to be consciously feeling anything around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about anxiety and racism in young children.
Yeah, and I wonder, right, like it does depend on the school that she's going to. It does depend on the social climate of the school at that time. There, there could be stuff happening that she's not aware of that's contributing to that anxiety. And it could just be the very real reality that, hey, little brown girl, you're going to have to perform twice as well to make the same grade in some instances. And that's a real reality as well. If she, has instances when she comes home and says, someone asked me a question about my hair texture or said something about the color of my skin, or someone gave me a compliment that didn't really feel like a compliment, right? You're pretty for a black girl or well-spoken for a black girl, right? Like those sorts of interactions that take place do make us question our identity, our place in the classroom. They do make us want to overperform, whether or not we're aware of the pressure that we're under for that reason, right? So we may just think, listen, I have to be perfect. I have to do well. I have to overperform and have that anxiety that's coming up. But we're not aware of, that's stereotype threat, because you don't want to confirm a stereotype that you're less intelligent or less well-spoken or, right, that you're having to compensate just because of the fact that you're different. And I think that as those realities start to come into place, as, you raise your hand 10 times in class and you're realizing I'm not getting called on as much as my classmates, or when I get a correct answer, my teacher responds with surprise as opposed to just a confirmation, right? So these are, just daily little instances that can be taking place that do lead to additional anxiety. And it is those conversations that you're able to have as a mom that just not only prepares her for, but also allows her to, receive education in a holistic way. So that's to say, if she's reading an American history book in class, you might have to say, okay, at home, we're also going to read about these hidden figures in Black history, just so you know, right? These white people in your history books aren't the only ones. Or, you know what, we're going to watch Black is King tonight, just, to reinforce some positive images of Black people. And I think that the more that you're able to do that, the more you're able to combat, any sort of racism that she might not even be aware of. Just the fact that she's different. So building up her identity in that way to say, even if you're not getting those negative messages, your skin is beautiful. Trust me, she knows it's different. So tell her it's beautiful, right? Your hair is beautiful. The texture of your hair is magical. It defies gravity. Look at all the different things you can do with it. Get her to celebrate her hair. And it might become an instance where she says, you know what, mommy, I've been feeling this way based on things that are happening at school. Or I'm just so glad that we're able to do this together and celebrate our hair together. And those are things that you can do to kind of reduce any anxiety, but also just to foster the relationship between the two of you, right? So those girl times that you guys have, as much as you're able to tie that back into her identity, her self-esteem, not only about how beautiful she is, but how smart she is, how hardworking she is, how funny she is, right? Talk about things that are value-based. Oftentimes those challenge any anxiety that might come just from being, like you said, the only one in any situation. You do notice those differences. So as long as you're able to make those differences something that she celebrates and is proud of, that's more likely that she's going to approach and celebrate those outwardly herself, as opposed to, retreat.
Yeah.
To hide those differences.
Yeah. I need some help with this. So let's talk about how to manage the anxiety, right? Of what are the practices? I heard you say taking back, like modeling it, but in the moment when the tears are falling, when, I think what we've been trying to do, we had like a little meltdown on Monday, and I was like, no, like this is not going to be the way that this goes. Like, this is not how I don't want to feel anxious when you come home from school. I don't want her to feel anxious opening up the books.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a little bit of time management. That was one thing of like, all right, we're going to do, the baseline is a half an hour for each of these subjects. We're not going to like, because, you know, on that paragraph, she could have spent 2 hours on that paragraph. And I was like, we are not doing it. Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening is that the next day we did things differently, and it felt so much better. It felt more manageable. But yeah, what are some offerings that you have to help alleviate in the moment and then preemptively so that the moment may be dodged?
So let me first just reinforce exactly what you said you did. That's so important. That's so necessary to slow down in the moment and attack each issue step by step. Mm-hmm. That's so important to prepare for it as well. Mm-hmm. I think transitions are really important. So if you say we're going to have 30 minutes and we're going to start our first assignment before that, right? You're going to get home. You already know homework is going to be anxiety provoking. So how can we set the mood in a way that says, all right, Alexa, play 90s R&B. And you're going to have 30 minutes of that where you just come home, you unwind, you talk about your day, we're not getting any chores, we're not getting any work, but we're just, we're setting the stage, we're relaxing. We don't want homework to be anxiety provoking. And then you can start by saying, okay, what are your subjects? What are your assignments today? And then breaking them down exactly like you said. Oftentimes when things are overwhelming, just that first step of breaking them down step by step helps to alleviate some of that stress. But like you said, if you're noticing it in the moment, she's working on this paragraph, she's getting frustrated, you notice anything changing about her behavior, she's slamming her pencil down, she's saying things like, oh, I can't do anything right, or this is impossible. You as a mom, stop and check in. Mm-hmm. Right? We only have 30 minutes that we need to be working on this. It looks like you're getting a little frustrated. You're getting worked up. What are you experiencing? Check in with her. Take her through a couple deep breaths, have her check in with herself. Where are you feeling it in your body? The more she's able to communicate that, the more you'll be able to help her regulate or just come back to baseline. And then you can say, all right, we're going to start the timer over and we're going to finish with the next 15 minutes of this assignment once you've managed it. But I think that as much as you're able to check in with her emotions, check in with her thoughts, and then just keep each task manageable, you're able to avoid kind of that overwhelm, the unpredictability, as much as you can make it predictable. So every night we know homework is from 5:30 to 7. Right? You can make it predictable in that way. She knows what to prepare for. And this is how we do homework. This is where we do homework over here on the kitchen table. This is your timer. As much as you're able to make it something that she's able to expect, she knows if she has any questions, you'll be there. Right? Maybe getting frustrated yourself. And in that case, hey, we're both going to take a couple seconds and we both need to go read this assignment. And we both need to, let's look at what your teacher was asking. Right? But the more you're able to give her her own agency over that, eventually let her set the timer, let her monitor it, let her write down her assignments, and you'll see she'll start to feel more control. And anxiety is often just the sense of a lack of control. Mm-hmm. So as long as she has that sense of control within herself, she's able to maintain that kind of baseline. Even when things are unpredictable, there's always going to be, a new assignment that you have to be able to say, okay, what's my teacher asking? What are the expectations? Is there a rubric? What do I know about this topic? Those sorts of questions. If you're able to ask her those, she'll start to ask herself those questions and have that sense of control. It's self-esteem, really, right? Mm-hmm. So the more that you're able to talk her through that and then reinforce it, right? Like I said, she gets done her homework. It's not on to the next. Celebrate finishing homework. It's a big accomplishment every single day. And that also helps to alleviate just the anxiety around it.
I feel like she's a milder case, but what to say about children that are experiencing more intense anxiety, social anxiety? What offerings do you have for parents who I've tried all the things, or do you recommend, let's say that for parents that have children that are experiencing anxiety that aren't necessarily diagnosed, do you recommend them go get a diagnosis? Like, what do you have to say for parents that are like, yo, this is something different?
Yeah, right. Once you say this is something different, that's when we start to think, okay, maybe this is clinical. So maybe this is something you can use some support with.
Yeah.
And whether or not you need a diagnosis, because, for Black babies in particular, we don't really need diagnoses unless they need resources in the community or in school. But if they're just getting resources from you as a mental health practitioner, they don't really need a diagnosis. It could just be that you're working on skills around these issues or these problems or feelings of anxiety. And in those cases, the strategies still work. So what I will say is just go to a mental health practitioner, find a cognitive and behavioral therapist. Cognitive behavioral therapy is gold standard. We know that it works. If you pay attention to what you're thinking, if you pay attention to how it makes you feel and what it makes you do, you can challenge those thoughts in a way that alleviates your anxiety. You can. And a sixth grader can do it. An 8-year-old can do it. If someone knows what a tummy ache is, you can get them to identify the feeling that's associated with that or the emotion that's associated with that. They might not have the sophisticated words for it, but they know what sad is. They know what mad is. They know what afraid is and worried, right? And as long as you're able to do that, you're able to get them into mental health treatment and they can get those evidence-based strategies. So those are going to be things. People are going to give you tip sheets that say exactly what you're doing, but they break them down into steps. They say, set a timer. They say, have the same area for the homework, right? Okay. There's something called sleep hygiene. Right. So what is sleep hygiene for you and your baby? What does that look like, right? There is a way to ensure that you are practicing hygienic ways of going to sleep. So that's to say you might have gotten your first cell phone, but every night you're going to give it to me at 8 p.m. Phone's off at 8. We're not drinking caffeine after dinner. We are journaling for 30 minutes to get all of those thoughts and worries about the day out of our head. We're looking at our calendar and preparing for tomorrow, right? So how do you empty your mind, calm your body? We're going to lay in bed and take 10 slow, deep breaths. If you're experiencing anxiety, that helps to calm your body down before you go to bed. So going to a therapist will allow you not to what we think about talk therapy, like tell me all your thoughts and all your worries. It's going to give you concrete steps that you can use for a sixth grader that says you have worries at school. How can we alleviate those? You have worries around homework time. How can we alleviate those and make that more manageable? You have worries around bedtime. I hate to say this too. She's going to have worries about boys one day, or she might have worries about girls one day, or whatever she's interested in. So how do you as a parent manage the anxiety around that and the anxiety that she might be experiencing? So like you said, there's that typical anxiety, but if you start to say this is different, then that's a sign that you can just get support around it. And there are, right?
And how do people know it's different? How do you know, like, no, are there like telltale symptoms of like, okay, this person may need to be medicated
So the one thing that we're going to ask is, does it happen in different contexts or is it situational? So that's to say, is it only around homework or is it only around school environments? And then is the degree of the worry extreme? So it can be global, which means she worries about everything. That's extreme. Or it can be, she has this one worry, but it's huge and astronomical and she panics and she freaks out and she runs away and she's crying and right. If you have any extremes in those regard, then those are indications that say, okay, you do need some additional help. Or if it doesn't seem like it's an extreme, but it's something that you say, you know what, I've tried everything I can try.
Yeah.
Even if it is something that you think is just a simple everyday problem, that's enough to say you can use some support. So if you've tried your friends, your families, you've tried, parenting the anxious child, you've tried therapy for Black kids on Instagram, you visited all the websites, you've gone to DrIshaMetzger.com, you've looked at, right, all the self-help, and you still need help. That's to say, go to a professional. There are free therapies. There are therapies that you can utilize with your insurance. There are self-pay therapies that are on a sliding scale, which means they provide services based on your income and what you can afford. So certainly, if you are having, right, either extreme problems in one area or just global worries, or again, those kind of physical symptoms that we can tell that kiddos might have, then certainly those are indications that, okay, outside help or professional support may be warranted.
And last but not least, you mentioned boys.
Yeah.
And she's coming into her preteens. And for those that have preteens, what is your advice for social media usage and the correlation with anxiety?
So one of my favorite messages is, girl, unplug.
Yeah.
That is to say, social media can lead to anxiety. Social media leads to comparison. Social media leads to, on one extreme, right, this idealization, this romanticization, these couples goals that are unrealistic.
Ciao.
But it also, right, it can lead to bullying. It can lead to feeling isolated. It can lead to a lack of real life connections. So what I'll say for parents is, monitor your kids just as much as you monitor yourself. When you notice that your screen time is increasing, you notice that changes the way you think about yourself. Know that might be happening to your kid as well. So just set healthy and responsible limits would be my advice.
She has a phone, but she doesn't have Wi-Fi. So it's like she can only be on the internet on her phone when she's in the house. Right. Is there an age that you think is the best age to give your child a phone independent of you?
No, it's really up to, the maturity of your kid. It depends on the type of phone, right? You don't want your kid's first phone to be an iPhone. Sometimes, you give them that phone that can call mommy. It can call Big Mama.
Let's go.
Come on, right? You got the phone that calls 3 numbers. That might be all your little baby needs. But I say that, and then you do know that as soon as she leave the house, one of her friends got an iPhone, right? So that's to say there's only so much that you can control. But certainly, I think it's just most important to have conversations with your kids about reality, right? This on social media is not real. Just how you see mama posted this today, you see what really happened in our life today, right? Social media is not real. It's a highlight reel. It's idealized. It's unrealistic, and just make it, very plain and open for them, in a way that says you can talk to me, but also I got access to your page and I have your password and I might be in your inbox and you never know when, right?
Right.
That's to say, keep things open and transparent. But be responsible and encourage them to be responsible as well. That's to say, I'm monitoring you. There are limits. You're not on your phone at midnight. It's coming with me, right? Or we're turning it off, right? That's responsible parenting. That's limit setting. These kids want those boundaries, right? Otherwise, they're on Instagram and TikTok at 3 a.m. They're waking up, their eyes burning. They're not ready for school. They want those boundaries that say, go to bed, give me your phone, just as much as you want those boundaries too.
I need those boundaries.
Need those limits.
I need somebody to come and take my phone out of my hand.
Come on, yes. So be that for your kids. And as much as you're able to monitor them, I hate that I never have the right age. Some people say 8 years old, because as soon as they leave the house, they're going to have it, right? So, 8 to me feels drastically
crazy.
Young. But
I'm like, girl, when you can pay the phone bill, that's when you can get a phone.
Get a job. You need a cell phone. You can't read and write.
When you can do a whole 15 paragraphs, then you can get your phone. You write me a dissertation.
Come on.
Then you get your phone.
It's also cute when she's able to text you, right? Thank you.
No, it's very important. It's actually wildly unsafe that she is ever on the streets by herself without a phone. I'm like, you need a whole chip in your neck, actually. I'm scared.
Get her one of them old throwback flip phones. They still make those. Get her a Nokia Chirp. Get her a Nextel that says, "You page me," right?
I'm serious. I want to get it. That's what I'm thinking about getting her.
Go to Walmart and get a $35 phone just so she knows. And, they look cool nowadays, too. But just so she knows that she's able to communicate with you if she has an emergency. Those will let her text you, too, right? And just teach her the responsible use of cell phones, because it's coming, right? It's inevitable.
It is. And I need to model it more. I can't be all hunched over like
Exactly.
Can you help
Yes.
me with my homework? I'm over here. What
Yeah.
you say?
Model that. Show her how to put the phone down at dinner time. Show her how to mute somebody. Show her how to block somebody. Show her how to
I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, Facebook is overwhelming. Instagram is overwhelming. I'm getting off this today. You can model that for her as well.
What are some resources? I heard you name some things, but for those folks that want to dive a little bit deeper, whether pick up a book, dive deep into parenting while anxious, as well as parenting anxious children. What are some resources that
So one that I really like is it's called the Kasdan method for parenting. That's really useful if you are on the socials and social media. Black and Empowered is my page. We have resources for parenting that we distribute there and on the Empower Lab. Therapy for Black Kids is a great resource. It's a good friend of mine, Dr. Earl Turner. If you go to my website, DrIshaMetzger.com/online resources, you will be overwhelmed. We got books, we got videos. Okay. They are organized by age group. They're organized by parent, or if it's a teen, or if it's a kid or a teacher. So we have resources for literally anyone who wants to parent, in this case, most particularly Black babies. Those resources are available. And then another that is near and dear to my heart is called the Care Package for Racial Healing. So that talks about racial identity. It talks about some of the things that we talked about earlier in terms of strong Black womanhood and the way that we think about ourselves as little Black girls. So that's a resource that you can utilize with your babies to just facilitate and have those conversations around her identity, what she knows about Hidden Figures, Beyonce, of course, right? So we're able to use these resources to really have these conversations and really instill the self-esteem that's needed to combat that anxiety and that overwhelm, that lack of messaging, and also negative messaging that might come, not only from being in private school, but, just walking down the street and scrolling through social media and watching the news, right? There's always negative messaging about Black and brown bodies. So as much as you are able to combat that with positive messaging, I think is really helpful in terms of just being able to manage our emotions, to manage our thoughts about ourselves and our ability to handle unpredictable, challenging situations, right? JoJo should know, right? I could write a paragraph. I could write a chapter book if I wanted to. I could be an author. Yeah. She should know, right? Like the sky is the limit. And as much as you're able to celebrate that paragraph, that's what's going to lead to literally the sky for her. So that's what we try to encourage.
Thank you for your work. Thank you. It sounds like this is your purpose. This feels very deep to your heart, especially around Black children. And again, just building up the self-esteem. Thank you for being and having an archive that people can tap into. First of all, that is no small feat.
Yeah.
Let the folks know where they can find you aside from the website you just shared.
Yes, I am on. Listen, don't go to my Insta. I hate my Insta. I'm like y'all. But go to the Empower Lab. So I am Dr. Isha Metzger on Instagram. You're just going to see my nephew and me on the beach and stuff. But if you want resources, go to the Empower Lab and black.and.empowered. So Black and Empowered is where we just disseminate those resources. And the Empower Lab is more of a community where we're able to continue having these conversations and really talk about what it means to be Black, what it means to be a parent, what it means to be a Black teen, and really how we can celebrate those strengths that we have.
There's just limitless conversations to get into. To any of the listeners that have children, teens, little ones, if there's a topic that you guys really want to cover, let us know. We're gonna bring Dr. Isha back because now you're like. And now it's a bad reference to use, but you're like our Dr. Oz or like a Dr. Phil. You know how Oprah was like, we're just going to keep bringing them back till you get your own.
And training and a certification. licensed currently. I
Not
promise.
you.
I'm legit.
Listen.
Let me stop. But yes.
For real. But for real.
But for real.
But a resource for the community is what we need.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful. You really, affirmed and confirmed a lot of things. And, we finna write a book.
You're doing a great job.
You're doing a great job.
You are.
You're doing a
Truly, you are. You know, I listen
Trying.
to stories every episode, and I'm like, you know what, JoJo is so funny. First of all,
she's hilarious
and independent, and I just want you to continue fostering that. This anxiety is just a response to, like you said, she's the only one. So just remind her that, you know what, you do stand out and you are a shining star. And I think as much as you're able to reinforce that, the more she's going to be able to celebrate those talents that she does have as she starts to realize that, wait, all these assignments are nothing. I can crush them. Yeah. She's going to crush them. And crushing them just means you're going to attack it piece by piece. And like you said, just do your best. And I think that's really going to, alleviate any of that anxiety.
Again, thank you so much. And yeah, shout out to all the parents out there doing the damn thing. We ain't got no choice now. So just show up fully and tap into all your resources. Trust your gut. And let's get these babies out into the world. Show up. Help us. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you're not going to leave. You're going to stay on.
Okay.
Now, forgive me, you can leave when we're finished talking. You can click the red telephone, but you're going to leave your browser open because your video has to upload. So I don't know if you can see it on the up top. It has that little cloud that says uploading, 99%. Yeah. So once that's completely uploaded, then you can close your browser. But that was good. I think that was really good. Exciting.
Yeah.
Informative.
Yeah.
No, I think it was really good. And I hope, I do want to tap back in as different issues come up, because I think I need to, or I want to tap in more into the parent side, and bring that to the forefront and Around the Way Curls as well. So yeah, we're going to have you back.
You doing it though. I know it's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not easy. I want it to be easy. I want it to be easy.
I don't know if it ever does get.
It's never gonna get easy. I'm like, what the fuck? But in the email thread, if you could just send your some pictures of yourself.
Okay.
And
you want like a headshot?
Yeah, just a headshot of yourself. I could use that in promoting, and this will come out next Thursday.
Oh, y'all fast. Okay. Yeah. Shut up. First of all, if I get a notification next Thursday and I press play,
you're going to be on it. Like,
first of all, it's going to take forever. I'm about to freak the fuck out. What?
Yeah, girl. You gotta get the people what they need now. You look good, your skin shining, glistening. Let's go.
So I only have y'all on podcast. Where is the video?
It's on Patreon. So we gotta do a better job of promoting that, evidently.
Yeah, and now I need to get on Patreon because I'm not. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's how people watch y'all.
So people watch. So that part of the experience is the paid experience. So only our patrons will be able to see your pretty face. But
that's amazing. Listen, you are amazing.
You are. Thank you for this work.
That's crazy.
The way you talk your stuff, I said, okay.
I literally say that about y'all every single week. Like, how are they doing this?
We don't know. Evidently, we gotta figure something out. But
no, you're doing so good.
We are.
Take any time that y'all need.
I will extend that
Call
to
me
Antoinette. Yeah, I will extend that to her. The porcelain princess needs. She works so hard. She cares so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be okay.
And that is the period and the point of the blank. It's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay. She can take this time. She should take some time. Y'all should take some time. It will be okay. She will.
What part? Where are you?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta, girl. I should have came through. I was in Atlanta last weekend.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was in Atlanta. I love it.
Right here on this very couch. Yeah, I'm downtown.
Oh.
Yes. Please, anytime you're in Atlanta, we friends now, girl. So please.
Yes. No, I will pull up and you got to show me other places. But I had a lot of fun. Atlanta. I was going to do a little work stuff, but that changed to me being like, I have a lot of work all the time. So let me just go in because it's about to be the holidays. So I was like, let me just go. I definitely looked and checked out some possible places to like do pop-ups or like, I don't know. Philly's getting old, but
I'm just Tabernacle, girl. Yeah.
It was really fun. The weather was great. I was like, It was fun. All right, well, I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta go.
Yes.
Do more, but.
Well, apparently I'm going to see a notification next Thursday, which is bizarre. But okay, so I'm going to send you I'll send you like 1 or 2 pictures. You could pick.
Just send me 1 or 2 pictures. What else is there that I need to tell you? I think that's it. Again, just don't close that browser until it says fully uploaded. So you can leave, but that's it. Aisha, thank you so much.
No, thank you. You're amazing. Whoa.
You're amazing.
Call my mama right now.
That's so funny. You can hit the leave part. I'm scared. Actually, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to close the browser. I see it's at 99%. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it up.
All right. Peace now.
All right, boo boo.
Bye.
Oh my God. See you soon.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Now I stopped this thing. Look at me, y'all. Trying to do this by myself. I need internet. Well, that was fun. I'm going to stop this recording. Thank you guys so much for watching the episode of Around the Way Girls. That thing went out. You saw that, right?
I saw it, child.
My computer in India cannot handle long sessions. She'd be like, all right, now.
Your computer's like my knees. You can't get on top.
Hours.
Okay. All right, well, since the editor, I'm going to hit up this guy that wrote. There's another person in the DMs that wrote. I have 2 people from my podcast folks that they suggested. I'm going to see what's up with this dude first, but if he could do this, that would be great. If not, send me the audio. I'll do it this weekend, at least for Monday.
I'm gonna try to come through on Saturday. I really would love to.
Girl, don't tell me.
I would
things
love to.
you don't mean. It hurts me when I get disappointed because you also don't cancel until like you'll say I might come up there, and then when you say that in the evening, and then you cancel at 5, and like all day I've been anticipating.
I just gotta kick it. We're gonna do like a day thing, and then or maybe we'll just have breakfast and.
You might be doing too much.
I would love to do it though. That would be fun. Get some fun, and I could pick up some jewelry, but that might be too much to pick up. Y'all niggas better bundle up. Okay, girl. Then I'll be all buzzed, and then I can't go to sleep. Okay.
Right now you're buzzed?
Like, I'll be up all, like, awake, like.
Let me see how it is. I'll tell you what, if you still awake, take your SD card out now and send these files. Because you know how you do. JoJo still listening to reggae? Is she? I've been thinking about her a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like the next time I see her, I feel like her face is gonna change.
See, Sean? Yeah, girl, stop this. Bye, everybody.
Huh? Oh, you talking about?